All right, guys, welcome back into another episode of To The Show Baseball Podcast presented by Beyond the Monster. I am your host, Andrew Parker, and today's episode, we are diving into the West Coast here, the San Francisco Giants organization. I had Charlie Szykowny on, who was named a High A All-Star in the 2025 season for what he did for Eugene this past year, and he tapped into the power department a little bit. He had a career high 21 home runs for Eugene, and we do kind of dive into, how that came about. And, after not hitting for as much power last year, he definitely changed some things this year. So we do kind of dive into all that and more throughout his 2025 season. But before I do shoot to the interview here, whether you're watching me on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is you get your podcast, please, 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 I much appreciate all the likes and subscribes and anything that you can do. It's making a push on YouTube right now. So if you're watching me, please hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so. I'm making a push there. But yeah, without further ado, let me shoot you on to the interview with Charlie Szykowny. All right, I'm joined by Charlie Szykowny, who is fresh off being named a High A All-Star for his 2025 season that he had this year. And that is exactly where I want to start. You had a pretty good season this year. Obviously, you got recognized as an all-star for your league. So just take me through 2025. What kind of stuck out to you about your season?
It was a bit of a roller coaster of a year, to be honest. It started out pretty rough, and then we were able to turn it around, and even our team turned it around. We started winning a lot of games, so I think just starting to play winning baseball and just turning around from the beginning of the year was fun to be a part of, uh, especially with the Emerald too, because then we get to play in the championship as well. So it was a lot of fun.
I got to ask, because it was the first thing that stuck out to me when looking at your season this year. You set a career high in home runs this year. And after hitting 6 all of last year in 94 games, you hit 21 in 124 games. What'd you do? Like, how did you tap into the power department this year?
Um, I've the last couple of years, like in college, I was starting to hit for more power, and then I guess that last year, I don't really know why it was less power there. I guess going into the off season, there was more intent of trying to get the ball in the air more and cleaning up my path a little bit to the point where I'm landing in a better spot to hit for more power because the contact was always there, but maybe not my ability to hit the ball hard every time was there. So I guess the focus of the offseason of driving the ball in the air and being in a better position to hit the ball hard more consistently. Hopefully, I think led to that, and hopefully can continue that this offseason.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, were you satisfied with what you did, what you had worked on to get to that point? Like, did you have to sacrifice other parts of your game? I guess, where would you consider that to be now at the end of your season?
Yeah, I'd say I was pretty satisfied. Like I said, the beginning of the year was a little bit of a struggle. Just got off to a slow start, and then it was nice to see like the work I did in the offseason pay off throughout the rest of the year. I wouldn't say it sacrificed anything else. It's just more just being able to do it more consistently throughout the year and compared to last year, like there'd be hints or flashes of power, but then I feel like being more consistent with it was able to be a little bit better this year.
So you spent all of 2025 in Eugene there in high, A, and you got a small taste of it last year in 2024. What did you think about playing in Eugene? Have you, was high A this year everything you kind of expected it after the small taste last year? I guess, how would you say the challenge was this year?
It was a lot of fun playing there. I mean, that stadium is beautiful, and almost everyone in that league has a really nice stadium. And I don't know, I'd say it went about how I thought it was going to. It's a little interesting because our league is only 6 teams, so like I've talked about my dad a couple times. Like we start playing these teams over and over. It feels like you faced everybody like 4 times by the end of the year. So it's a little interesting in that regard, like compared to like the other leagues who have like 12 teams in the league, and you're gonna see these guys twice or 3 times a year instead of like 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because you're up in that, like, that Pacific Northwest corner. So you're not going to have, like, you're not going to be playing, there is only a slight, a few amount of teams up there. So
Yeah.
it is interesting. But all right, so for yourself, obviously being, a couple years into now your professional career, and I found this interesting when I talked to, I've actually had I think a couple of your teammates on. I had, Charlie McDaniel and Darren Smith, a couple of the
Okay.
pitchers in the Oregon, but they were kind of telling me about some things that the Giants were doing pitching development wise, and how hands-on they were with their pitch mix, where they're like, hey, we think you should throw this, grips like this. So I haven't got to talk to any hitters from the organization. So as far as hitting development, have they been very hands-on with you since joining the org? Like, hey, like we think you should be doing this. We think it could yield this, or are they more hands-off and like, hey, we're going to let you kind of figure things out and then we'll step in if needed?
I would say this year more than my first year. It has been a little less hands off. Like they'll tell you things that they think you should work on, and then you go and work on them on your own, and then you'll come back and they'll assess it then. Or if like you're producing, they don't really touch you. It seems like, or I guess the more focus has been like from the development side has been like on like striking out less, like getting guys over, hitting runners in. That's been the main focus more than anything hands on, really. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're too hands on this year at all,
Okay.
unless it's been needed or like if you go ask a question, they'll happily like bring up like your skeleton data and show you things that you want to see or like we'll have like a mid-year review of like where you were at spring training compared to like in June here and like throughout the months. So I guess it's hands-on. It's as hands-on as you want it to be, and then to a point like they will get involved if they feel like they need to, I guess.
What do you think about all the data you have available? I find that, fascinating because that's something that's, honestly kind of popped up in the last few years of the advanced data that now every team has access to. And, obviously I feel like it's probably a little different than it was when you were at UIC. For example, you probably have, more information available to your disposal. Like, do you like all the data? Do you think sometimes it's too much? Like, what is your thoughts on all the, the data in baseball?
Yeah, like you said, I didn't have a lot of data in college, so I guess just getting into it, you could definitely get into it a little too much. It seems like there's a data point about literally everything, and I don't like to look at it too much during the season, especially because I don't really know what I'm looking at for the most part. And then I feel like if you start looking into it too deep, it's like like you can really cripple yourself if you get too into it. But it is interesting. Like they've had a couple guys come down from like the front office and try to explain some of this stuff to us and like data points. They were talking to us about like there was one point in the year they were talking about us with our hand deviation. Like I don't know the exact numbers of what the hand deviation was, but they thought it was like a very important thing and like to think about, not really like dive into with yours, but like if you throughout the year, my hand deviation got higher as it went on, and that's my results started getting better. So like they showed a positive correlation with my that. That was about the only like data point like that I used throughout the year, but there was a bunch of other things that are interesting and a lot of people look at for better or worse, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
I feel like if I was in professional baseball, I would drive myself absolutely crazy looking at all of the numbers because I feel like, I've talked to guys that are like this. They're kind of perfectionists where they're just like, okay, well, I have all of it available. I need to see what I need to do to get perfect. And it's like, you'll never be perfect. So I would drive
right.
myself crazy. I already know it.
Right.
Um,
My brother's the
well,
same way. He asked me about all these data points too, because he's an accountant. He likes looking at the numbers and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I could get you the information after the season, but yeah, no. I don't
yeah.
like to dive into it too much.
I'm with you. I'd be the same exact way, so I understand it. Well, I want to talk about a different part of your game here. Obviously, your power numbers this year speak for themselves. You had an OPS over 800. Like you had a very good offensive year. But I want to talk about your defensive side of the game. 'Cause that's probably not something that gets talked about a lot. And when I'm always around minor league baseball players and coaches and things, the one thing they always say to me is like, in the field, like versatility is key. It's like, hey, if I'm able to play multiple positions, that can help me get up to different levels throughout the minor league baseball. So for yourself, you played a lot of first base this year. You also saw some time at third base. Is that something that you like about yourself? Do you want to see continue in the future, like being able to play multiple positions to give yourself more versatility? Or I guess talk about a little bit about your defensive game.
Yeah, I mean, my dad always said growing up, wherever you could get in the lineup, like that's where you're gonna play. So I guess like throughout my whole life, I've been wanting to like I went into college as a catcher, and then ended up playing shortstop throughout college, and third, and now first. Like I basically, yeah, I always tell them to like I'll play literally wherever. Like I think at one point. One of our catchers got hurt, and I was the backup catcher. I was hoping it wasn't going to get there, but I definitely tell them that like I'll just go wherever and I'll make it work. So
Well, there is also a position that I did see you had some time at in college. How much do you miss pitching?
no pitching, yeah, that is a good backup plan if the hitting if I stop hitting homers one of these days. But I don't really miss it too much. The elbow's a lot happier about it.
Yeah, I saw you got some time on the mound. I know it wasn't like a whole lot, but I didn't know if you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
maybe the designated guy, if it was like a 12-run game or something at one point. You're like, it could be me coming in, It's like
I think I might be the last guy because of that reason. They don't want me going up there chucking the ball across the plate.
that's fair. That's
Uh,
fair. No, I had to look. I saw you had some stats on there. I'm like, all right, he pitched throughout his years, but not a whole lot. But obviously, you're doing well in the box, so I don't think there's gonna be any change anytime soon. All right, so I always like to show some love to kind of where you came from a little bit, just to like obviously your college journey is also a little unique as well. It's not like I'm sure you're sharing a locker room with guys who were from SEC schools or whatever, and that they had a little different path. But for yourself, ending up at UIC. You are my very first guy I've ever had from UIC on this program, so I do appreciate that. But can you kind of talk a little bit about what it was like playing there for people who may not be too familiar with UIC?
yeah. Before that, I went to UW Stout for 4 years, D3 up in Wisconsin. That was even more different than UIC too. So, and then going to UIC, yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, we literally preach grittiness. That's Coach McDermott is literally like that's all he's about, and ingraining the city of Chicago into the program with the gritty approach to it. And even though we have the beautiful field and pretty like beautiful facilities for D1, so I don't. It was a good time there.
So I do want to shout that out too, because you had just brought up, you went to Wisconsin Stout. It was a D3 school. What was it like there? Like, how different was it playing there compared to UIC, for example?
That playing there for the UIC is definitely way different. It's just like our field and practice times, and you only have a certain amount of days to practice with the team, and uh, just the weather up there, everything about it. Like we were practicing in like a field house basically, and just getting reps in whenever you can, and it was definitely a lot different, lot different kind of baseball for sure.
Did that weather prepare you for Eugene, Oregon in April? Like, isn't it kind of cold up there?
It's like a constant state of wet in Eugene in
Yeah.
April. It was just nonstop drizzle, it seemed like. But yeah, it definitely did. Just even playing in Chicago, the nonstop cold weather games, rain games, and uh yeah, it was nice to play in warm weather after after April.
Yeah, I was gonna say I talked to some guys, maybe they're Texas guys, Georgia guys, even from Florida, wherever it is, and they're opening up the season in April in Michigan or up in
Hmm.
Portland, Maine, and they're just like it is brutal. It's getting snowed out. It's like we're not used to this, so I feel like the weather is always like a huge factor for some guys. But I feel like with you being from Illinois and kind of used to the cold a little bit, I feel like it may not have been as much of a culture shock.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You could see some like our Latin America guys like
Oh
just
yeah.
this freeze and like they've never seen snow. I mean, they probably haven't seen snow before, so it's definitely interesting to see how some of the other guys handle it.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple questions left, and they're off the field things here before I let you slide. So,
All right.
you just got done playing out in the Pacific Northwest, kind of far from home. That's not like an easy commute from where you grew up. So, is there anything that you miss like about home when you're out there? Like whether it's like your favorite restaurants, like just anything, I guess minus friends and family, because that one kind of like makes sense. But is there anything you kind of missed about home?
I miss the food. I mean, we would talk about it all the time, like the food. The food it's beautiful up in the Pacific Northwest. I don't think the food's made it over there yet, from the rest of America. But the first thing I did when I got back is got some Chicago pizza and then a beef sandwich the next day too. So
There it is.
yeah, mainly the food. The food was the biggest thing I missed, other than family, of course.
Can I ask, as a guy who travels quite a bit and I'm going around city to city a lot to watch games, for Chicago, where is the go-to pizza spot for Chicago style pizza?
Chicago style pizza. There's a lot of like the popular like Lou Malnati's or
I need the
Giordano's.
local recommendation though.
I'm a big fan of Gino's East.
Okay.
Gino's East is my favorite. You gotta get the crumbled sausage, uh, deep dish pizza. It's really, really, really good.
Okay, that's good to know. I take
Yeah,
mental notes because I've done the Lou Malnati's, I've done all that. It's good. I like it. But I always like the local recommendation a little better.
yeah. I think there's
Um,
only like two or three Gino's East, so it's not as big as like there's Lou Malnati's all over the place.
okay. I got some
Yeah.
family up in Naperville, so we're up there quite a bit. So I'm always
All right.
on the
You
look.
gotta stop then.
All right. So now that now that we're into your off season, you've been done playing for a little bit. Do you have any plans this off season? I know last off season was a little different for you. Just with having a fall league visit last year. So I think it was a little shortened, but this off season, you don't have the fall league. At least I don't think.
No, no.
So what's in store this off season? What are you going to do?
Me and my wife are gonna travel at least a little bit more than last year because last year I actually got married too, so
Oh,
it was a crazy off
yeah.
season because
Jeez.
we weren't expecting the fall league invite, and then we had a wedding to plan like a month after. So I think we're gonna go visit the East Coast a little bit actually, and then um yeah, not much. My brother's getting married. Just to spend some time with family that I didn't get to a little bit as much the last off season. So it'll be good.
Where at in the East Coast? You might have to hit me up for some.
I think we're gonna go to New Haven for some pizza there because I heard there's some good spots there. Then we're gonna go into New York City because me and my wife haven't been there yet. And then I think I'm gonna visit my one buddy in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah.
if you're ever trying to hit up New Hampshire, Maine, Boston, hit me up. I got some
All
spots
right.
for you.
All right.
Well, all right. Last question here, and it's something that I'm always curious about. And I always I get a lot of pitchers on the show. I'm going to be honest with you, and they're always giving me, I know what they do on their off days and free time, but for yourself, you had an off day every Monday during the off season. Say you weren't traveling, whatever. You got a lot of free time this off season. You're not in the cages. Like you got some time yourself. What are you doing with that free time? Like, how would you spend those off days?
Like during the season or no?
Both, honestly.
During the season, it would be if we could golf, we'd try to get on the golf course.
That
Just
is.
yeah, that was the main thing we'd do. Other than that, it was chill. We'd stay off the feet basically, or we'd be on a bus. So, but now it's a little different. I don't even. I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna start hitting here soon. I'm gonna drive myself nuts if I don't start hitting here soon. So, basically just chilling. I'm trying to learn the guitar right now.
There it is.
I've been golfing a lot here too while the weather's still nice. Other than that, not much. Not much. Waiting for people to get off work and then go hang out with them. It's a little
So
different. When we're not working now, so and everyone else, you come back, you expect them to s- go quit your job.
yeah, no,
But
I've been hearing that a ton. It's just like, you're back home. It's like all your friends are like, they're working their day jobs or whatever. And you're just like, I got nothing.
yeah, right.
My day
It's
job
definitely
ended.
weird. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
So I have one follow up for you, and it's something like I said, I get a lot of pitchers on. They tell me they golf all the time, which is a big pitcher thing. I understand. So I had a few position hitters, and now I don't know if you know who Nathan Martorella is. He's in the Marlins organization. He's in AAA there.
Okay.
And he told me something, and then I've heard it a few times since that he's a power hitting first baseman, and he's like, I can't golf because if I do, it'll mess up my swing. And I've asked a few position guys about this, and they're like, I don't really believe it. Like, what are your takes on that?
I golf, so I hit lefty and I golf righty.
Oh,
So
there it
it
is.
doesn't really mess mine up too much. Because if I try to golf lefty, I don't know what it is. I just pull off the ball, or yeah, I don't
Okay.
know what it is. I hear some people tell me though that that it like helps their swing. I swear every
Okay.
time we went golfing this season, Quinn McDaniel, our second baseman, center fielder, if he went golfing, he would get a couple hits like the next couple games. It was like automatic. But I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
Some people are weird about that. Maybe those people that are looking into their data points too much are the ones that are golfing and messing up their swings too.
I
I don't
know.
know.
And I've heard a couple people say they're like, if Mike Trout is a big golfer and he says he golfs like all the time during spring training and all that, if he can do it, like,
Yeah, true.
he's doing
Hey,
quite
that's a good
well.
point. That's a good point.
Um,
Yeah.
all right,
Yoenis
Charlie.
Cespedes used to swear by it. Remember him? He used to swear
Yeah.
like his golf game would prove
Really?
his hitting. I don't know.
Wow. All right. Yeah. I mean, Cespedes had a great career. He's obviously doing something right. So if he's
Yeah.
golfing, then hell yeah, put more power to him. All right, Charlie. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Obviously, wishing you best of luck going into your off season of traveling, and wishing you the best of luck going into 2026. But thank you so much for hopping on and doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Andrew. This was fun.